That works.
All right, now,
So I just saw
yeah,
this.
as I was saying, if I could go back in time and like just go see titties and stuff instead of all that good guy shit, I mean, yeah, definitely, I would be getting them nudes and stuff instead of all that intimate like, oh, this is my feelings and yada 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 yada
Yo,
type of
real
shit.
talk. If
What?
like while you're back there, make sure you see if V's can come and hang out too. That's like important. This doesn't normally happen, but since everybody's here, we should definitely call everybody on deck.
Yo, let me
I
actually.
prefer I prefer the I prefer the intimacy.
Over titties?
Yeah.
Over ass and titties?
Yeah.
Over, are you saying over the pictures or over actually getting it?
Over both of those things.
If you don't get your good guy looking ass, no. Really?
No,
Honestly,
I mean,
like
Bro, wait, but I'm just saying that's it's very funny and odd to hear that from you or from any guy who has chosen not to like it's like you've chosen that over or I shouldn't say you've chosen that or like that's what no bro like that sounds so fucking crazy to hear from you because you all about them ass and titties like
but
I
I get
never
where
hear
you're
you
coming from.
like because I never hear you like when you talk about a female most of the time like I rarely hear you go into the mental like the I guess the platonic relationship between you and her. It'll be like it's more focused on like you remember that time? You remember that time you were talking about old girl and you're like, it's something about old girl. I can't put my finger on it. And I looked at you and I'm like, man, I'm a dude, bro. Like, stop bullshitting me. It's them titties, ain't it? You started laughing because you knew I was right.
I remember that scene too.
It's so
um,
when you say that, it's just surprising. It's funny. I wouldn't expect that.
I mean that was a long time ago, and I feel
It
like
was. It was.
that was a long time ago, and I feel like things have definitely changed the last couple of years. You know,
Getting old,
forced.
bro.
Well, no, it's
You
not
need
getting old.
Viagra.
It's just it's a force. It's a perspective. You know, I think it's more of that that's a young person's mentality, and let that be that. You know.
Wait,
I get where you're coming
what
from.
is? You're saying like the pursuing ass and titty, or I'm saying
Yeah,
ass
like
and
all
titty,
the
sex and something of a more physical nature.
yeah. That's like it. Let's and to be very frank and clear, there was not a whole lot um of that for me, but the like a little bit of it, I just I've come to the conclusion that I know what I like, you know, and it's I much rather prefer the intimacy than that. In the end, you know, anybody can get caught in a moment, but it's you know that it's all meaningless without intimacy.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. I mean,
I
I
feel
thought
that.
that way for a long time as well, but it's just I don't know when I the like I guess when I look at the for instance, I was just talking to a friend about this not too long ago. Um, like 10 years ago, I was dating this chick and she had been before we started dating, she had been sexually assaulted and I didn't know. And we got to a point where basically it was summer and it was I guess I mean this is a weird word to use, but it was an anniversary or I wouldn't well I guess anniversary would be the correct term. I wouldn't know what else to call it. But basically it
Yearly
was around the
reminder.
same time, huh?
A yearly reminder.
Yeah, basically it's like a yearly reminder, you know, that that had happened to her, and you know she was going through some shit, and she had told me about it, and basically I started like because I heard that, you know, I like I started working out more, and like I mean I always worked out, but like I really went into overdrive, having heard that, and like damn, I gotta like I'm trying to be strong for this woman and whatnot, make sure you know nothing like that ever happens to her again and in the process of doing that, I ended up like fucking up my back really bad. And of course, that's not her fault. That's on me. I fucking shouldn't have been. I should have been. I shouldn't have lifted the shit wrong or did whatever I did wrong to hurt my body like that. But it's 10 years later, and I'm like, yo, like right after I did that shit, we basically ended up breaking up because of some other shit. And it's like, man, like that ruined that like that happened and it ruined my whole fucking summer. I mean, not just the back issues. It was that I was also I really liked the chick. And so I couldn't sleep for like 2 months because every fucking night I'm having nightmares about shit that happened to her. So I was really empathetic with her situation and all that shit. And then it's like 10 years later, I'm like, okay, she's living her life. She's got her family or whatever. And I'm like, man, my back is still fucking hurting. Like, why did I make these little sacrifices? Specifically, it's mostly for women, or like that's the ones make me the most fucking bitter, are the little sacrifices I made for women. And it's like, dude, man, I know so many guys who've been shitty to females, and like, it's like that you get the happy ending from being what I thought you were not supposed to be, versus what society tells you. If you want to be a good man, you need to do these things. You need to act this way. You need to be this way. And I'm like, okay, I did that. Like, what the fuck? Like, where's the payment? Like, and not that I was ever looking for payment, but it came a certain point where I looked around me and I said, man, why is it that these assholes or these shitty motherfuckers are getting the woman or whatever, and I'm doing all the shit I'm told that I'm supposed to do. And it's crazy. I'll have a lot of older women, like, women who are actual adults, go like, oh girl, you need to talk to that guy over there, or that guy, that dude over there is gonna have a future and all this shit. And it's like, there's no real benefit to doing the shit I was supposed to be doing, other than you move yourself forward. But like, it's like at a certain point I'm like, yo, like, where's the payoff in this shit? And it's just, I don't know, dude. It's like I've been really caught up on that a lot, because we're gonna be turning 30 soon, and I'm like, where the fuck was the payoff in doing all this good shit? Because I've been told plenty of times, like, oh, you're a good man, and damn, you're a good guy, and like, damn, you're a good person, and it's nice to be told all that shit. But like, in terms of the gains for my life and in any kind of meaningful capacity, it hasn't did shit for me. So it's like, what's the point of being that way? Shouldn't, like, it seems like there's more benefit in being an asshole and kind of just doing what you want to do, rather than take the good route of like, I don't want to fuck over this person. I want this thing, but I'm not gonna fuck over these people to do it. I'm not gonna do that shit. It seemed like it's better to be like a asshole. If I had a kid right now, and look, I also want to ask you guys this: if you had a kid right now, a son, a male, uh, how would you tell them to go through this? Hey, is he on? Hey, there he goes. Hey, what's up, bro? Um, but how would you tell them basically to navigate that aspect of life? The whole being a good man kind of thing. Because to me, I don't know if I had a son right now, I wouldn't know if I would tell him, hey, just kind of do whatever the fuck you want to and fuck that moral shit. I mean, don't kill nobody. Don't kill nobody. Don't live your life like you playing Grand Theft Auto. Don't get me wrong, but like, I wouldn't know how to tell them to navigate that shit. What would y'all do? Do you know?
Um, I think it's an idea of like, hey, to be morally outstanding, like this is gonna not be fun, you know, but I need you to understand that life is bigger than you and your own person and your own wants, you know, and and it's the faster he can see that though, that life is. I feel like the faster that you learn the lesson that life is bigger than you and your needs, the the faster you understand that like you are a minuscule part of this like world, and that you don't matter. And not to say that they don't matter, but like that they don't like what you feel like what you feel like you're deserved isn't what you really need. What you need to do is control yourself and be a bigger person because I think the idea of man is knowing how to abstain and how to say no. You know, because anybody can say yes, but it takes a man
Hmm.
to say no. Like I'm not. Yeah, because that and that falls for anything. Like I'm not gonna stand for this. Like no, you know, it takes a real human being and who's who's not gonna be swayed by like superficious or like super imposed ideas of a society to say no. You know, because in some to some degree, you show more the more self control you show, the more mature you look, or just be like, hey, you know, society says this, but um as a man I decided that like hey maybe yeah maybe I'm not gonna have sex until I'm married or whatever, you know, or like something like, you know, that's the easiest go to like of like the idea that I'm trying to say here, you know.
Hmm.
But I think it's just in those regards, you know, that's kind of like how I see it. Like that's how I would teach my kid, like, hey, you know, just because you want it doesn't mean you can have it, you know. The world isn't yours and the world isn't your oyster. You have what you have, and you make good of what you have, because wanting more is just gonna lead you to a point of like lead you to a life of disappointment. I don't know. That's kind of the way I see it.
I
Yeah.
get you, and I know that you're. Uh, I know that a large part of me being that way initially, or in the past, has been it's been of a religious nature. You know, you do like you said, the world is not your oyster, that kind of thing. You're just another piece of the puzzle, you know. But I guess at some point when I stopped when I stopped believing in God and religion and all that stuff, you know, it became more of a the world is your oyster kind of thing. And you know how the in the Bible says the wages of sin is death,
Yeah.
and it went from me having that mindset to more of a the wages of life is death for everyone. That no matter how good or bad you've been, you will die, and it's a guarantee. And I guess that is probably why I have that bitterness. I mean, I hate to I hate to say it is that way, but yeah, definitely as I get older and I'm reflecting on some things, it does make me a little bit bitter. Uh, which, you know, I hope to change that. I'm not gonna fucking have that be my boat, live in that boat forever, so to speak. But you know what? That you saying what you just said kind of puts that in perspective, because your mindset and the way you phrase that is the way I would have phrased that in the past. Because on some of my fucking worst days, you know, what I looked at is, you know, it could be way fucking worse. I'm just another piece of this puzzle. You know, you got to endure, you got to keep on going. And now that I don't think of things in a moral or a religious perspective, it's more of a this life is just what you make it, and it doesn't matter. Like the I hate to say it, like the some of the morals don't matter in the long run, because from your perspective as an individual, it's all the same shit. You know, it doesn't matter if you're fucking up the stock market, and you put the you privatize the gains for yourself, and you make everybody else suffer the losses. Because at the end of the day, if you're sitting pretty, and by the time you die, you're doing good, fuck everybody else. It doesn't matter. And of course, I wouldn't want to live my life that way. But at the same time, it's like, God damn it, that's some bullshit. But like I guess it's just that there's a disconnect between the way I lived in the past and the way I understand the world in the present. But like at the same time, if I had kids, I still wouldn't know what the fuck to tell them. Should I tell them, hey, uh, I don't know what the fuck is going. I guess the real thing would be, hey, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Do what you want. Just don't kill people, because that lands you in jail, and that sucks. What were you about to say though? 88.
So reiterate the question for me one more time.
My my question is basically, given given the, I guess, the idea of what a man is supposed to be, and the just the, like with the whole Joe Rogan, the whole maybe I shouldn't name specific people, but just how, at least for Americans, American culture kind of has this idea of what a man is,
Yeah.
of what a good man is. And how they're saying like nice guys finish last and all this other shit. And it's like some of that is definitely fucking true. Um so given how, I'm trying to think of a specific scenario. Like let's say this. Let's say there's a woman who is struggling with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend cheated on her, and now she's still in that relationship, but she wants to cheat back on him. And maybe a
Mm.
good man would say, okay, I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow myself to to be a part of that. Versus a man who's saying, okay, hey, free pussy, I'll take it. How would you tell your kid, if you had a son, how would you tell him to navigate those moral boundaries? Would you tell him to be the good man who abstains? To tell him to be the good man who abstains? And I'm saying good man in air quotes. You can't see it. But would you tell him to follow that ideal that society tells us we're supposed to live up to? Or would you tell him to just do what to have fun, and just do as he pleases, do what he wants?
I believe in balance. I highly believe in balance. And I know it's like that's what a lot of us go through with majority of this when it comes to this life. We there comes a time where we all realize the importance of balance. And like just from my story alone, I know one of the things that I really I seek, one of the things that I personally try to go about it is finding the perfect balance that allows you to be able to be as, I guess, whatever, like, like, is it to be perfect, or is it to just be what you need when you need to be it? And it comes to an offspring, what would I tell an offspring? I would just tell them to go enjoy it. I mean, they would go and they would get their lessons as they proceed. Like I would tell them things that, like, the same thing your grandparents would tell you. They would try to give you little lessons that would spare you as much grief as you could. But the reality of it is, they aren't in that time period that you're in. So they're not going to be able to fully grasp all the stuff you're going to have to go through and deal with. However, it's just like there are certain things that you can go with. Like, hey, truth is truth, regardless at the end of the day. So therefore, that's one thing you could tell your offspring to look to. It's like try to hold on to some truth if you can. Um, and I know that the beauty of knowing yourself is another one that's really good. But you got to do a lot of these shit. You got to do a lot of these things just to figure out who you are. You got to have your ups and downs so you can get to the places that we all are right now. Like there was a time where we all were different versions of ourselves, and the journey is what made us who we are today. And you can't just really give them a, you can't really just give them a straight path. What you could do is just give them some tools they can use that hopefully will allow them to figure it out. And hopefully they don't do some shit where it's like, oh, my parents gave me these tools, but I want to figure it out myself. So fuck my parents for giving me these tools. And what I mean by tools, just like um, I don't know. It's just it's just one of those things. I really don't know. I mean, this is what I know when it comes to it. So it's just give them some tools. You tell them that this shit constantly evolves, and you punch them in the chest because that's what you should always do to your kids.
I
And
don't know about the last part.
I want one thing I don't really
Allegedly.
like I don't want to segue to another topic, but it
No, go ahead.
reminded me another thing that is kind of bothering me with society nowadays.
Mhm.
Like I don't like the death of competition. Like everyone wants to be all humble and like, oh, don't do this for competition, do this for that. But there's a certain beauty that comes with competition. Like for us, just hanging out, there's a certain beauty that helps us grow. Like it's a thing. You need that growth. I don't know. I don't like the death of competition. I like saying that I'm gonna stay up all night and make beats because I'm trying to get to a higher number than somebody else that I'm like comrades with. It's a healthy competition. We're doing that so we can be better and push ourselves opposed to, yeah, man, do what you think is best. Like that gets you to a comfortable, relaxed state. And I don't think that's how everything should be. But I might be just on some, I don't know, man. I don't fuck with the death of competition. Everybody I know and I keep hearing that all they want to do is just remove competition and make things easy. Like it's okay to win second place when, like, yeah, if you win second place, that's cool. But don't make it where it's like, well, I'm okay with like, man, put those places there because you want everybody to be giving their all. So it can be like this gut wrenching competition that grows everyone because they're giving their all. Like that shit Goku used to do, man. I don't need no soft ass shit.
I get you. I kind of got that kind of personality too. Like I don't know. It's like it's certain things, certain values that we're told to have, like be a humble loser or some shit like that. And I mean, I'm not saying like you should be a, if you lose, you should like be like, all right, then fuck the whole game and just ruin it for everybody or some shit like that. No, 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 no. Of course not. But like, what's with this like I don't know. Like, I don't think everybody has a kind of personality. I could be a humble loser for sure. But like, if I would get second place at some shit, even if we're on the same team, I'm I'm not happy about it. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not like okay. Well, I had fun. I'm not one of those motherfuckers who's like who competes to have fun. If I'm competing with somebody in some shit, it's one or two reasons why I'm competing. It's either because, just to fill up a slot so that they fit so that the activity can go on, or it's because I'm trying to win. And
No.
it's nine times out of ten, it's so that I can win. I fucking hate
Yeah.
losing. I hate it. I don't I'm not like if I'm playing a if I'm playing checkers with somebody, I'm not playing this shit for fun. You can bet your ass that I'm like I want to fucking destroy this person at this game. Like
Yeah.
but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't see a problem with that cuz not everybody's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I lost. Oh, well, I wish the winner the best." I'm like, "No, I mean, not with everything, but like there's a lot of shit where I'm like, Man,
Nah, fuck
fuck
that
the
winner.
winner.
Nah.
Fuck that winner. I'm gonna destroy that motherfucker next time. I can't wait to. I'm a fucking go and I'm gonna practice this shit. I'm gonna fucking analyze that motherfucker's technique and I'm gonna destroy him on the next fucking game. Like,
Bro, there was so many times I take it back to PlayStation All Stars. Like I will never admit to losing as much as I did, but
me neither.
Man, you lost a lot.
like I mean, yeah, you guys were all there seeing that like
Sorry, I'm back, by the
fucking
way.
no, I noticed because you brought it up, but but like just those nights where everybody was playing, they're like we're done, and then V's is like
Don't
toe to
feel
toe,
bad,
bro.
man. I don't feel bad. I didn't have a character in that game, but I was still trying my best to compete. Screw Toro.
Nah, but you sat down. You sat down. I kept going, bro. It was like 3 in the morning one time, and it was just like I thought I was gonna win. And we just kept
See,
going, just kept
with
going.
and that's where I feel
Ass
like it
whooping
kind of
after
depends on what
ass
we're
whooping.
being competitive in, because like there's certain situations where it's like you got to know your limits, right?
Fuck
Like
that.
there, I mean, I guess that's
That's
if you
how it
want to keep
goes.
running into a brick wall ad nauseum, then that's on you. I knew my limits with that game. I didn't have a character that actually fit what I wanted to do. I worked with what I had, and I kind of felt like I hit my limit with that game. So yeah, I'm still gonna play. I'm gonna have fun playing. I'm still gonna do my best to win. It wasn't like I was just playing just to play. I was still trying to win. At the same time, I also recognized that like I kind of hit my ceiling at that point with that game. So there comes a point where it's like I can't continue to be as competitive as I would like to be. Like I'm still gonna try to win, but at the same time, it's just most likely not gonna happen. The odds are stacked against me. But I'm gonna
I
still play.
remember the so like I took that as all right. I'm gonna train up on everybody. If I can work my way up, I was like, okay. First person was you, Cedric. If I can beat you, all right. That's another reminder. Then I went to Fez. I got to a point where I was whooping Fez. Then I got the freaking Steady, and I was like, all right. Steady can hold his own, but I'm doing pretty good to a point where I think I can,
Yeah,
I
you were
can, I
doing the
can, I can.
Mortal Kombat tower way of things.
But then when you put all of us in one area, that changed everything. Yeah.
But yeah, I
No,
mean it's kind of hard because you're going from a 1v1 to a free for all. Same thing. Like I mean, it's not the same thing. It's a completely different game at that point. There's too many
yeah,
variables to throw in.
definitely fun. Definitely fun. It taught me a bunch of. It did teach me a bunch about myself. I mean, where I took that thought process and went into Dragon Ball Z Fighter with that thought, with those same actions. And then that's when I realized it's a play style. And that's when I found out there are people who play, and then there are people who just watch others play so they can react to it. And that's when it's just like introduced like, oh, there's so much more to this game that you don't know. And that was the problem back then. It was a lot of just rush in and I don't know, that's a character trait of mine. Definitely definitely have dropped that a little bit. I know when to kind of just chill, or at least a little button pops up in my head and tries to remind me, you should probably slow down, kid.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like losing. I'm definitely not gonna be a guy who's gonna run it back. Cause I every time I do that, I feel dumb. You know. Um, but I don't like losing per se.
But you wouldn't do the.
Cause
You saying you wouldn't do the rematch?
I wouldn't be like, "Hey, run it back," you know, right?
Yeah.
Because there's times where I'll be playing Dark Souls, right, and I'll have a boss like kill me like 10 times in a row. And then it's it's when I walk away from it and then I come back after a while that I definitely am in an area where like I come back. It's like they say when you study, you're not supposed to cram. You're supposed to like study a little bit of it and then walk away, go do something else, and then come back to it. And then they say you retain more that way. That's what they say, anyways. And I feel that's like exactly what I need sometimes. Like I need a break from like I guess just relentlessly dying over and over again. You know.
Yeah, I mean
But
that makes sense. At that point, though, I feel like that's
but
more
then
like
but then I
starting
come
to
back
learn.
for sure. I come back to this. I come back to the boss, and I'm just like, and I solve all the riddles of the, in terms of like, oh, okay, this is the pattern. I was just messing around and and like not doing it how I was supposed to, because it's all about patterns. Well, at least they try to make it about patterns, because like at least Dark Souls 3 was that way, where it was like you could listen to the music and the music told you how it was gonna work out. But oh, is he really trying to fight me? I just okay. And so, but like this Dark Souls 2 one, it's definitely more because the timing's different. You can't eat. You have to heal correctly. There's no. It's I don't know. I think Dark Souls 2 is a really fun game. And I'm sorry, I had really had nothing to add, but something to add to it.
I mean, no, that was an addition. I get what you're saying. The whole stepping back from like getting fucking wrecked, versus like me. I'm like, I'll just keep getting wrecked over and over. I would run that shit back 100 times until like I either tire you out or like I start doing random shit that catches you off guard, and I'm like, okay, it's like a puzzle. And I feel like if I keep encountering this puzzle over and over and over and over and over again, so I'm gonna start to see the cracks and the weaknesses, because there's gonna get a point, or I'll get to a point where I'm doing the same thing and losing in the same way so many times that basically I'm putting puzzle pieces together. If I do this, if I go here, I'm gonna lose. If I do this way, I'm gonna lose. But damn, when I did this shit this way, it seemed like I caught this person off guard. So let me do this shit 5 more times and kind of throw it in randomly to see what happens. What kind of
Yeah.
unorthodox shit can I do that people wouldn't expect? To like to solve this puzzle and figure out why am I losing and why are they winning. Even if it's like I'm a fucking beginner, like I'm a just fresh as can be, and I'm playing against somebody who's like they really get the game and they know it. I just like to go into that situation again and again and again and again, and keep throwing shit at the wall until I see something that sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
like that balance between that and what Cedric is talking about,
mhm.
because when I play Apex, I lose all the time. And going back to the what y'all were talking about earlier about competition, with a game like this, it's not pure competition. There is a certain amount of luck involved, and just luck of the draw, and uh multiple parties. So there's little straight up competition. And even with that, you might have uh the conditions might be different. Like somebody might have the terrain to their advantage or their position on the map or something like that. And I had to learn to just enjoy that competition for what it is, because sometimes there's nothing you could do. Like you lost and there was no way to change the outcome.
Mhm.
But if everybody fought a good fight, at least it was fun.
Mm.
But when it comes to Apex, like I take all kinds of losses, and even though I might, even though I might be playing the same, like I might have a string of losses just come up, or my teams might be stacked the wrong way, or everybody wants to hot drop all of a sudden. You know, there's just all kinds of factors into it, but perseverance can like pull you through a lot of that and let you learn what mistakes not to make anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, yeah, I just it is like for me when I'm playing something like that, I'm like, I know there's some motherfucker on this game that can go in, land anywhere by themselves just about, and take out teams of three because they're that fucking good. And I'm like, if I keep playing this shit over and over and over and over again, I can get to the point where, and of course in some games it's not possible. And with Apex definitely there's a bit of randomness to it. But like I always feel like if I keep playing this game and I I can get good enough where just in about any situation I can find some way to outmaneuver or outsmart people. And or I could just get good enough to be able to what would I call, I guess, attach yourself to your team and be embedded in your team so well and be able to support your team so well that even if you got a shit team, you guys can either still win because you support them so well that it's like they can't fail. Like I feel like there's always some way where you could put yourself in that position where you're supposed to lose and you could still come out on top. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about that game. You could end up dropping in a place and not having any weapons, and you could punch somebody off a cliff or some shit. And
Yeah.
you could still make shit happen. You know, like you can keep on fighting even if the shit seems like it's not gonna work at all. But yeah, definitely it's I don't know. I haven't got to that point where I can just accept the fact that it's out of my control. I always feel like if I lost the match, it's because I made the wrong moves. It's
Yeah.
very rare that I lose the match and I go, well, it's got to be something really shitty. Like I land in a big ass place that's normally full of loot, and all I'm doing is I'm finding like a fucking shitty pistols, and all the ammo around is for other guns that I don't have or that aren't even there. And then I come into contact with three teams at once. you know, that's the kind of shit where I'm like, okay, I could accept the fact that that was out of my control a little bit. But like even then, I just said that, and I was like, but what if I would have maneuvered and like punched somebody off a cliff?
Yeah, I feel it.
I think it depends on. I mean, when it comes to a game like that, like I would say any game. I don't think there is a. I don't think you'll always make perfect decisions.
hmm
Like you will make the wrong decision,
Yeah.
even if you're an expert. You'll make the wrong decision.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
with a
that.
game like Apex, you have to make a lot of fast decisions, and only hindsight tells you if you're right or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I feel like the main difference is like depending, I guess, on the genre of game, is the difference of like RNG that you run into. Because like you were
Hmm.
saying with Apex, it depends on like where you're landing, what is around you, what you have available at your disposal to use. Whereas like in a game like, I don't know, like a fighting game, you have a character and a toolkit, so there's not as much RNG, but you still have to account for like what your opponent's gonna do still. but you can't really read it like a book.
Yeah, because there are styles to it and all that.
Yeah, like there's people that play more defensive, people that play more offensive. So it really just there's always going to be some sort of variable that's out of your control uh, that you're going to have to account for.
What
Yeah.
is that? What was that? What were you just saying? RFB?
RNG.
RNG,
RNG. Random.
random number generator,
Oh, I thought it was
Mm,
random number game. Oh well, yeah, that is true.
or that.
Yeah, it's both the
Yeah, I
same
mean,
thing.
basically the same thing.
Yeah, just
It's
the
not even that it's
randomness.
necessarily using numbers. It's just the short term for the random factor that's going to be inside of your game.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing for me in Black Desert because a lot of that stuff was based on what gear you had. And no matter how good you were with your character, if you went up against somebody who had legendary gear or something like that, like there's just no way you're winning.
Yeah, like you
Depending
have to
on
have the same gear.
your gear and all that stuff.
Yeah, you'd have to have like the same gear, the same kit, a similar kit, I guess, of the same power
Hmm.
to stand a chance. I mean, but that's in everything. It's not just video games too. It's the same thing in like card games, really anything. Uh,
Yeah,
Hell, real life, huh?
that
Yeah.
is real life.
yeah,
Yeah.
real
Even
life.
LeBron struggles to carry a team through a championship depending on who he's playing.
Yeah.
but you know who can carry a team? Tom Brady.
I mean, when you standing on top of when your team is floating on deflated footballs, I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
really.
say. I was ready. I was ready.
Man, that's old news, man. Y'all talking about some old stuff.
Oh,
Nah,
he
boy.
part of the
Once
deep state,
news,
y'all. Y'all
always
better watch
news.
out.
Yeah, I feel like there's always going to be that asterisk by his name. You can't really easily
No, I
tell.
mean that. Yeah, there may be that asterisk, but it doesn't change who he is as a person.
Well, I mean, no, it doesn't have anything to do with his like actual being a person. Just
We know that we ain't
we,
playing Uno with your ass.
yeah. But there's always gonna be that in the back of my mind, like, oh, okay, was this another situation where the balls were deflated?
Mm,
That
Yeah,
sounds like
that's right,
losers.
Tom. We're talking about you, Tom.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, he listens to this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does for sure. I think he
Hell
might
yeah.
have been like the second or third subscriber.
Yeah, he sends me a text every now and then just to remind me about how deflated those balls are.
Is this after or pre cum?
He's still.
If I remember correctly, Tom Brady was the second one to subscribe right after Joe Rogan. So
Gotta keep them coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny is that I just got something called I just went through and Green predicted this like hardcore. I definitely picked up this game and ran with it as I am really far away from the
Oh, yeah.
beginning of this game, and I feel so proud that I can. This makes me feel like me as a little kid playing Ninja Gaiden Black and just crushing it over and over again because this game is really good. And now I'm doing stuff that I didn't think I was ever gonna do, like make it. Here we go. Ooh, one,
Yeah, man.
two.
Dark Souls is that's a it's a very it's a really strange kind of game. Just the like it's constantly fucking you over. But like at the same time there's so many. I mean, for the most part it's like you you only really have yourself to blame when you get killed the majority of the time. Uh
It's
Don't get me
a
wrong. There's a
game.
lot of shit that you could not have seen coming. There's definitely a lot of that, but like just the way it just the way it shapes the way you play the game itself. Where most games I play, I don't ever have to change my play style. It's I could just play it whatever way I started playing it at the beginning, I can play it that way the whole way through, and it doesn't force me to act differently. But like Dark Souls, if I started like mashing on the attack button and just going through enemies like that, like at some point, I mean, maybe you'll get away with that for a little while, but at some point, the game's gonna just put a hard wall up. It's gonna be like, yeah, that strategy you were using 2 hours ago, it ain't working no more, boo. Because I remember I was playing Dark Souls 3, and there's this enemy that's really hard. There's this knight enemy, and I found a particular weapon and a particular attack that I could use to beat that enemy really, really easily. And I was like, okay, like now I know that's a good attack and this is a good weapon. And then like fast forward maybe 90 minutes later, and that fucking tactic and that weapon are now essentially obsolete. Like it's and now you have to reformulate how you're gonna attack the problem. Whereas
Yeah.
in like a game like let's say I like this game called Insurgency Sandstorm. It's a first person shooter. The way you play that game at the beginning, you could play your gameplay style never changes, or I should say, it doesn't ever have to change. Or like a basketball game. Well, I shouldn't say anything about sports. I don't play a lot of sports games, uh, but like for the majority of like shooting games, whatever way you start playing, you could play that way the whole way through. Just get behind cover till you heal and pop out, shoot enemies. Or if you've been flanking and that's what you do, keep on flanking. And they'll throw enemies in there to like kind of mix it up on you and make you have to change your tactics. Maybe they'll throw a tank enemy in there. Maybe they'll throw a real fast enemy in there, an explosive, suicidal enemy or some shit like that. But like it never really changes as dramatically as you have to change in Dark Souls, to me at least. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
Dark Souls
whole
is.
series of games, I feel like they were made to
Mhm.
where the gameplay, how do I say this? When you die, it's fair, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
I
there's
get you.
not really that many deaths where it's like, oh man, that was just cheap. Or, this is just like a boss going ham and I didn't have any way to no. It's like when you die, it's usually because you messed up. Like
Hmm.
it's a fair death.
Yeah, sometimes it
And there's
does
not
hit you with some
many.
bullshit though, but
Sometimes, yeah.
it's
I'm not saying all the
rare.
time, but it's
Yeah,
it's
but it's
one
a
of those
lot more
like
rare.
most of the times, yeah. Like it's one of the few genres I feel like that does that, where it's like, okay, well, if I died, that's on me. That was fair.
Yeah, it's not like that level in Call of Duty where I hit a checkpoint, and when I respawned on the checkpoint, there was already like a bomb coming down on my fucking head. So every time I loaded the checkpoint, I exploded. Yeah,
So at
that
least
one was
you
definitely
didn't put
scary.
like 40 hours into a into a hold on. Actually, I'm about to die. Hold on. Ooh. At least you didn't put like 40 hours into an Oblivion character, only to get poisoned by vampirism, and then do a
Oh
quick
yeah,
save. You're outside, and your character just automatically dies for your quick save.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
For those of you who may be listening that don't know about the funness, the fun of being a vampire in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. When you're outside, if you're a vampire, you can choose to like basically become infected with basically the vampirism disease. So you become a vampire, but it's a disease. So I mean, if you're out in the if you walk outside and it's sunny outside, you'll start burning. You were in like depending on how deep of the level of vampire you are goes. you may walk outside and you'll literally fucking catch on fire if the sun is out. And the thing about Oblivion is, I believe when you walked outside, it auto saved. It either auto saved inside the building or outside, and I want to say it was outside. So if you hadn't saved in a while, or if all your or if you didn't have any other saves,
If you
or
no,
you
if you pass through, like if you pass through like a load screen, it would save.
oh, that's what it was on the other side of the load screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would walk outside and you wouldn't know that it was sunny, or you forgot that you were a vampire. You would walk outside, instantly catch on fire. And if you hadn't saved in like fucking 12 hours, if you hadn't manually saved in 12 hours, then your auto save that you were greeted with was you walking outside, you catching on fire, and fucking instantly dying. So you would have to walk outside, immediately start drinking health potions and shit, try to turn around as fast as you fucking could and go back inside. And that shit did not always work. Especially if your health was already low when you walked outside, then you're just fucked. Yeah, but I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling. Not a good one. That was a fun ass game though. I did enjoy that game.
Dang. Yeah. I did too. I just Oh wait, did I? Oh no, never mind. I don't. I was just about to say I lost a lot of souls, but I didn't. Um. Yes. For
Sound like you're
sure.
in video game mode, bro.
No, it's
Oh
just
shit.
I was in the middle of a pretty big battle. I just killed this guy named Belstat the Royal Aegis.
I don't know what that is. Hey,
He's
did
in
y'all
the
see that video I posted in the pics, vids, and links? The one with the animating history, where it's got
I
the
did.
yeah, isn't that fucking crazy?
I think
Like
that's the
it's
world of tomorrow.
it's pretty it's pretty strange to see like a picture of bench. It's like I remember being in history class, or just even now when I look at a picture of a like somebody from like 300 years ago, like you see a picture of Benjamin Franklin, and you wonder, like, it's, of course it's a painting, it's not a photograph, so it's like I wonder how he looked, like how he really looked. And to see those paintings moving, for anybody who doesn't know, it's a video called Animating History, My Heritage Deep Nostalgia 2021. So there's this app, or I think there's this website or something called, if you go to myheritage.com, there you can put in an old picture of, maybe you got an old relative or something, of an old black and white picture. It could even be a modern picture. It really doesn't matter. But you can basically upload a photo and it will animate that photo. It'll basically use artificial intelligence to make that photo like uh, move around. It'll be essentially, it'll turn it into like a little video.
Yeah, that's the
So
thing I was talking about earlier. It's
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like,
kind of creepy, but yeah,
yeah, it is kind of creepy. It's weird to see a picture of Benjamin Franklin, and I mean, it's a painting. I keep saying picture, but it's a painting, and the
Let me get a
painting is
picture of
moving around,
Jesus.
and the painting is moving around, and it looks like it's uncanny. It's just like a real person is moving around, but that real person is a painting. I mean, it's kind of like, it's like, it's not like typical animation. It's just so unsettling because
yeah,
it, I can't even put my finger. I mean, it's just a painting that's moving. And the eyes is the most unsettling thing because it looks so realistic. It looks so human. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at a picture of Jonathan Swift from who was born in 1667. It's a black and white painting, and he's moving around, and it's so strange. or like there's one for of Caesar. Caesar, or actually, it's not Caesar, because in Latin there's no soft C's. It's Caesar. Just little history lesson right there for you. Uh, or I guess lesson or language lesson. But
You're
yeah,
not teaching.
Kaiser. He said, huh?
You're not a teacher. Keep going.
Okay. I just like to throw that in there from that one Latin class I failed. um, now I passed that class. I cheated the fuck out of that class, dude. Uh, um, allegedly.
He took it online.
No, I took that in high school, but I allegedly I had cheated in part to that class. But yeah, but it's just
But
crazy to see. It's a statue, and the statue is moving around. The statue of this person's moving around.
I think that statue one was creepy.
You did, yeah. The statue ones are creepy. And Nefertiti, Titty, I don't know. Nefertiti,
It's Titi. It's Titi.
Titty, yeah. To see like a statue of her and that shit is moving its head, looking around, and the eyes on that are of course fucked up because the statues they don't have very descriptive eyes.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. Or to
Is
see a
there
picture
anybody you
of
would want to
Jesus,
see?
huh?
Is there anybody that you would prefer to see or want to see using that technology?
You mean like any old pictures of old people I would like to see moving necessarily?
Yeah.
Actually, one of the ones would be Abraham Lincoln, but just because he has a funny looking face. Because he looks
You look
like
like a chimp.
he looked like he was on meth or some shit. Like he got one of those yo, you had a hard life kind of faces. I
Yeah,
mean,
bro.
it's not because he freed the slaves or some shit. Because I hate it when people make Abraham Lincoln out to be some great guy who freed the slaves because he had a good heart. Because that's not what the fuck happened. Um,
Exactly.
so I hate that shit so much. And I like when black people name their kid Abraham, after, not Abraham, but Lincoln after Abraham Lincoln, and it's like he didn't do that shit because he liked black people. It was just a military tactic. It
Yeah.
wouldn't. It was a military maneuver. It was to win a war. It wasn't because he was fucking nice. That's not why you're walking around free today. It wasn't because people were nice and they loved each other and they loved you. You're walking around free because it was a military maneuver. Anyhow, like
Now, you want to talk
of
about it, bro? No.
I mean, no,
No.
I get very salty about the history of this country and people
Yeah.
painting it out to be like, oh yeah, like all the bad shit that was in the past and yada yada yada. No, get the fuck out of here. Like, have you been to the hood? There's hoods in the richest country on the fucking planet, and there's nothing really being done to change that.
Yeah.
And you could like I know Ben Shapiro will always pull some bullshit out of his ass like yeah they're putting so much money in investing in the ghettos of America and blah 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 blah. No, the fuck they're not. I lived in there. I lived there. It wouldn't shit being done. Like get the fuck out of here. People don't like I don't know just this mindset of like of
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
yeah, like get the fuck out of here. Like the people who are saying that, the vast majority of those people ain't ever lived in those fucking places. So how are you gonna not have ever lived in that been in that situation and then tell people, "Oh yeah, this is what you need to do. Just do this right here." And even if you have been in that situation, that's one singular perspective. You are not
Exactly.
everybody in that situation. And it's just it pisses me off to see that. I can't stand. I
I
just can't
started
stand it.
calling it getting indentured servitude because there was somebody that I was having a conversation with back and forth, and she had the audacity to basically say that indentured servants had it just as bad as slaves, and I
Yeah,
was,
right.
and it's just
Like,
it's like shit like that that just grinds your gears, and how like people want to equate, they want to say that the Civil War, all the blood that was lost there, that was what basically everything that was done wrong. everything was paid for from the blood that was spilled in the Civil War. But you can't say that because after that, when Reconstruction failed, and you still had all the fucking bullshit that's going on. I mean, I'm not trying to ramble about the shit that we go back and forth. I just wish people were okay with having the whole story. Like everybody wants to be all prideful and this and that, but I don't know. I think America would be a lot better if you could tell both sides of the story from the jump and not have to find out that shit when you're in a middle of adult. Because that's what people get mad and want to start raging and fucking burning down shit. It's because
Yeah.
they get told a fucking lie. It's just, yeah, man. No, if we start the shit off with a healthy balance of both dark and light, motherfuckers would be better off.
Yeah, I think so. If we actually told the truth about the history of this country, and if people actually knew how fucking horrible slavery was, like like when I hear people say, it's always funny when I hear people say like, "Oh, the Jews had slavery and their slavery was worse," and yada yada yada. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Uh, like, dude, like the shit did not just stop at slavery, and one, like the idea that you could go look at some people. I don't know much about the history of the slavery that the Jews endured, but that was a different time. That's like saying, man, the barbarians in the year 10,000 BC were in slavery. You don't hear the slaves that they had complaining. Like what? It's like what the fuck, what is it with like sympathizing with the black experience that is so fucking revolting to some
Right?
people, man?
They
It's
always
like
want to take the power away. Like I hate that shit. They always want to
yeah,
take the power away. Like
like
like we can't feel bad. Like nah, nah, it's okay. You have
I
to.
mean,
They always want to tell you you choose what offends you. Bitch, you offended me.
yeah, I know, right? That's
if
like
you look at
saying
it this way, though, most of the other examples that are brought up, they aren't black. They didn't have to deal with. I mean, not that they didn't have to deal with, but it. How do I say this?
wait, I
It's.
could barely hear you.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Hell
that's better.
yeah.
That's better.
Okay. Um, a lot of the examples that are compared to black slavery are, not from black people. And the way I see it is the fact that they don't wear it on their skin. It's not visible.
Yeah.
You look at a Jewish, like if you look at a person and they're white, but I mean, are you gonna instantly say they're Jewish?
Nope.
Like no, but we can't hide our skin. We can't hide our identity. Not that we want to, or we would, that we should, but it's a I don't know. I feel like it's just because it's more visible with us
Yeah.
in the fact that we still go through a lot of this stuff, not slavery, but a lot of this stuff today as far as like racism and whatnot. Not that, Jewish people don't or anybody else doesn't. It's just there's a clear, I mean, it's a lot easier to be brought upon us because you can see it on us, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense.
Like, you're not going to go somewhere and start being like, okay, I'm going to start picking on all the Jewish people. You can't just look in a crowd. Not that all Jewish people are white, but you can't just look in a crowd and just be like, okay, these people are Jewish, I'm going to pick on them or
Yeah.
segregate them. You could definitely do that with black people, with Asian people, with Hispanic
Yeah.
people. It's just I don't know. It's a lot easier for us to be. We can't hide that. Not that
Yeah.
we should or that we want to, but it's something we can't hide. It's a lot easier to pick out of a crowd and to be targeted.
Ooh, I remember Killer Mike. He said something in one of his poems in one of Logic's cringeworthy album as I'm learning to revisit it. Was it Everybody? But there were some really good gems and parts to it. But there was one that in particular, Killer Mike had a poem where he was like, um, "The darker your skin, they will always want to remind you how close it is to dirt or something, and it hurts. And he's like has this really enriched, spiritualized poem where he's basically like calling the God. It's like, if you're there, tell me why you treat us like this. Like it's like it's this real enriching kind of thing. Like I remember, and I'm kind of running on a tangent, but it kind of segued to where it's like the black people were really the real Jews, and the Jews are like not even the real Jews. It's along those lines.
Hmm.
Like it's just it's one of those things. Like I don't know, because I started playing around with that thought. I think I was having this conversation with somebody because it's so taboo and you don't want to talk about it. But it's just like comparing the two, slavery and the Holocaust. Like you really can't even try. But if you were to, you have like a little contrast. What's those little diagrams where we used to draw, where you have a circle, two circles, and you meet it in the middle to find the things that are similar.
Yeah.
And
Venn diagram.
there we go. Venn diagram. And fuck Venn. Nah, I'm fucking around. But the like it's like when you compare the two, the only real like tiebreaker, if you want to ask me, is just like the amount of time. Because fucking slavery was like fucking forever. No, I mean, and then you got the Holocaust, and it all happened in such a short period, and that's why you can kind of go like, okay, I get it. The technology that was available to basically fuck up an entire race was so much there, and it was since it was there, and you were able to do that in one small little nick of time. It's like I get why it was bad, but it's like I don't see how anybody can fix their mouth to even try to compare the two, because the intensity of that one and the duration of the other put them both at just high levels of fucked up. So all you really can do is just say, hey, it's both fucked up. And let's just do our damnness to try to fix things for people. Like that's all I can really like. Don't fucking take their power from their struggle. I hate that shit so much. Like it's
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Like making it a bad thing that you're you identify with the history of your people. Like that's so funny that people say that, like, oh, they're still upset about slavery. Bitch, are you still upset about 9/11? Like I'm pretty sure we're still in Afghanistan right now. So it's like the ridiculousness of this inability to sympathize with the black experience, and also because I know when the protests and the shit happened all last summer, I was like, I don't have faith in it. I don't know if it's legit. I don't know if is this real support, or is this motherfuckers who was just bored and tired of being in their house or whatever it was. So it's like there's been such an unwillingness to sympathize with it. Now that some form of sympathy is coming into play, it's like, is it real? I'm like, at this point, I'm very jaded. I'm like, I can't. It's hard to believe in it now. That after all this bullshit and all this, oh, why are you still upset about slavery? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, did you not see the fucking? Do you not know about the fucking crack sentencing? Did you not grow up like I grew up with those kids who like so many kids who are like, I don't know my dad. My dad's in jail. My dad's in prison. Oh, what did he do? Oh, he sold some drugs. You know, like there's still just so much bullshit that it's man. It's hard to I don't know reckon with this shit. I don't know. I can't even think of how to put it. Just like I feel like this is not my country. Like for the longest I wanted to join the military, but like one thing that always kept me from doing it is like number one, the history of this country, and number two, just the experience of some of the black males, at least that I know, who served in the military in like Vietnam and uh, Iraq or Desert Storm, their experiences. And it's like, man, am I actually a part of this place? Like I feel like I'm a man with no country. I don't know if y'all can relate to that, but like definitely just the common unwillingness to accept the black experience and go, all right, I can empathize with you. I can accept that. It's just it is oh shit, oh that was you coming back in the thing. But yeah, just the the unwillingness to like it's like hey guys, hey black people, y'all need to assimilate. You need to become you're one of us, or like it's like a forced assimilation, but like there's no acknowledgement of the fucking of all the negative shit of the fact
Yeah.
that there's all these black ghettos in the country and all this shit. I don't know, it's just I feel like it's gonna I feel like that ultimately is gonna destroy this country. Just going down that road of okay, like that shit that happened in the past, it's in the past. We're just gonna ignore it. Never happened. Because that's what I feel like when I hear people talking about assimilating. You got to do your part as a black person in this country and blah 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 blah. But they won't take care of the fucking ghettos and the hoods and places like Chicago because they can be fixed. And it's I don't agree with this idea or the perception that it's such a hard problem that it's just unfixable.
Yeah.
Like we if you can get to the fucking moon, you can't tell you're telling me you can't fix a city, but you could get to the fucking moon. You could build these rockets. We could do all this crazy shit. We can wage war across the fucking planet, but we can't fix our own fucking neighborhoods. Bullshit. Bull
Yeah.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like all the shit that happened over the summer, just just the divisiveness in this country. I think a huge part of that has to do, even when it's not racial issues. I think a huge part of that has to do with our unwillingness to accept things like the black experience in this country and what it is. Because I feel like it creates these two versions of America. There's the black version of America where you're like, oh yeah, the Tuskegee experiments, all the fucked up shit that they've done. And then there's this other patriotic version of America where this country can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And everything that it's always been about the greater good, or everything can be reshaped or reformatted in a way where it was all for the betterment of the world or some shit like that, where like, oh yeah, we're waging war in Yemen or Yemen or some or Qatar or some other country, and oh yeah, we got to do that. That's we're keeping people. We're the world police. That's the way this shit goes. We're trying to help the world. I don't know. I can't even explain how fucked up these two Americas are. It's not even one country. It's like it's two countries existing in the same space. And if there was a willingness to cop up to or admit to all the negative bad shit that is going on and saying, hey, this is as a country, like, hey, that shit was wrong. All this shit is wrong. I feel like maybe we could consolidate these two Americas into one.
Yeah.
And I feel like we would all be better off for it. But I don't see that happening.
The weird part is just thinking about where we are now and not being able to see a clear path to fix any of these things, and bring them back to a time where we were able to actually get along. Like it's so weird because right now everything is slowly just splitting up into different factions. And I know earlier we were joking about, well, I was joking about like all these different cryptocurrencies.
Mhm.
And it just seems like it'll be hilarious if the world breaks up into all these different factions, and these different factions take different amounts of money.
Oh, like different cryptocurrencies. Like this group over here uses this thing. This group over here uses this shit.
Yeah,
So on and so forth. I think that
that
would
would
be
be.
end up being catastrophic for everybody.
It would be.
But yeah, I can see that. I can kind of see that happening, dude. Like imagine somebody goes, you know what? I'm tired of this version of America. Like, you know what? We're gonna take this cryptocurrency, we're gonna make this our money, and we're gonna have our own economy over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
yeah.
see
That
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 for
would be
sure.
crazy if that was the case, or if that did happen. Like I think that's one of the craziest things. Yeah, that would be crazy, but it's like I don't see us turning back from something like that. Like the way things are,
Hmm.
I I just feel like there's gonna be a time that comes where we're just so divided. How do you put a people back together after they like literally you have people who was like, okay, wear a fucking mask, be healthy. Then you have people who are basically like, hey, it's my freedom. And those two things oppose each other so heavily that it's like, what the fuck do you do about that? How do you split a people? Like how do you put a people together that are so divided on that kind of shit? Like I can't even fathom. You just leave it and let people do what they want.
Honestly,
Well,
I don't think you can.
mm,
I think there's one way, but I don't think nobody's gonna like it. I think it's
Les,
I think you gotta I think the only thing that's gonna drive those two people together or those two groups together is I guess you'd call it trauma,
Mr. Manhattan.
fear. Uh
Well, I was gonna jokingly say an alien invasion because that seems to work in movies.
Yep.
but
You
yeah, I
know,
mean, honestly,
all of
like
us come together when something foreign attacks all of us at the same time, regardless of who we are.
yeah.
Kind of similar, but I mean, even then, I'm still sure that you're gonna get some of those people that are gonna be like, "Nah, man, the aliens are right."
Yeah,
They're
I'm
gonna
gonna be
try to
one
Yep.
go
of
when the
them.
aliens say it.
Space Daddy.
Yeah, dude, like man, I think that's what it's gonna be. I think at some point I think something's gonna happen that is gonna like. Don't get me wrong, Corona was bad and all. You know, 500,000 people died. That's bad. And 500,000 people died in the span of like 1 year. That's
Yeah.
that's that's pretty fucking catastrophic. Uh, don't get me wrong, it's bad, but it's also not that there's over 300 and what 330 million people here. That's a very very small percentage of the population. Now, if your grandma died, if your brother died, if your mom died, yeah, that hurts. But I mean, in the greater scale of things, it's not the end of the world. It could be much, much worse. And
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys have ever had a period in your life that was so bad that you would wake up and for a second, maybe things are normal when you wake up, and then you remember, fuck, like that thing is going. So this thing is going on right now, and that thing is making your life a living hell.
Yep.
And and
They didn't like when I said that earlier
what?
about the numbers and all that. And
Mm,
just in the context of what we were projecting, it, like it's much less than the number we were projecting.
yeah.
Because humans don't like the equation, bro. I always tell you that. You never can tell the human the equation. You start talking numbers to them, they're gonna be like, you need to die.
I don't know, man. That don't get me wrong. That's a lot of people, but like this we could be facing some shit. We could have ended up facing some shit where everybody has that feeling of waking up and go. And I mean, when I mean everybody, I mean just about every goddamn person in America is waking up going like, fuck, I'm still in this nightmare. Like it's this, like where you wake up and for a second your brain reverts to the time before whatever event happened, and you're like, okay, whew, just waking up. I'm gonna go do. Oh wait, oh I forgot I was in hell. You know,
The mist.
yeah, like
I
where
mean,
you wake up and you're out of that mental fog or depression or whatever of this the traumatic situation of the trauma of the whatever the fuck it is, and you're out of it for a second, and
I
then
feel like a lot of people felt like that with Corona though.
I think that too, but I think that for what it was, maybe a lot of people felt like that, but I think the severity of it was much less than it could have been. Because when I'm saying you're waking up and you're feeling like you're in hell, I mean when you're
You're
waking
at
up and
war.
you're feeling like you're at war, like you're waking up and you're feeling impending doom, like
Yeah, I mean
and
that's what I'm saying is like because I mean it's not like that now, but when
mhm,
Corona was first kind of setting in, the
yeah,
reality of it, the first couple months, I mean suicide rates were
Spiking.
yeah they
yeah,
were pretty up there.
hmm,
People couldn't deal with
Anybody
how they
that
were feeling, being trapped inside. I know a lot of, I mean, not personally know, but I know what was reported was a lot of young kids and teenagers and whatever. Just
anybody that had
the
it on their
simple fact that
list.
they couldn't, yeah, this the simple fact that they couldn't go to school and see
yeah,
their friends,
exactly,
and they
just
were stuck
isolated.
at home. I mean, it kind of set them over the edge.
Hmm. Yeah. But like I'm like, damn, as bad as that is, man, like we got that, but like we're not having that. And then on top of that, you're waking up and you're hearing the soundscape of war outside.
Yeah,
Because that's some people's reality. There's places I wish I need to find the name of that country I was reading about. There's a country in the world where uh, with super. I think it has the highest suicide rate in the world. I may be wrong. I know the suicide rate is very up there. There's a country in the world where you're born, where for a lot of the people who are born there, at least the males that I know of, um, like it's a guarantee that you're going to fight in a war. Like it's always a war going on there. There's always fighting going on there. I wish I knew the name of the place, but I'm
it
like,
sounds like Korea.
um, nah, it wasn't Korea. It was like some jungle kind of place, but it was like holy shit, like on Naruto, the what's that rainy village?
Ah,
Um
village hidden in the rain or the mist or one of
yeah,
those.
It was hidden
I
in the
think it's the
mist.
mist. Yeah, the village hidden in the mist where it's always warfare when they were talking about, it was some wars going on and it was always
Dabimaru.
fucked
Hidden
up.
Rain.
That was
Hid- The
Yeah,
the,
hidden
the
rain.
village hidden in
Yabuzo
the
Haku.
rain, like
Wait, no, that was Miss.
that shit, like that's what that reminded me of reading about that story of that place where it's like always fucked up shit going on. And it's like that can happen here. Just because it's the richest country in the world don't mean that shit can't go wrong. Because at the end of the day, the problem is people. It's
Yeah,
humans. It's I mean, myself included, we all have those kind of flaws. We all, even if you're not a racist, even if you're not a a uh, a bigot, you still have some kind of, some shit you got to work on as a human being
yeah,
in regards to treating other human beings, correctly or right. Even if you're treating other people nice, it's much more complicated, I think, at least, than just treating other people well. Because
yeah,
sometimes you got to call people out on their bullshit. Sometimes you got to be there for people. Sometimes you got to help people grow and help people learn when they're lost. And it's much more complex, I think, than just
yeah.
I'm nice to people, therefore I'm a good human. I think it's more complex than that. And
I mean, I was
shit.
waiting for you to say the one where sometimes you got to pick between two different types of people. Like it's like, I mean, shit. It's one of those weird things where what camp do you decide eats tonight, or do you figure out a way to where both of them eat, or what if you can't? Do you have
Yeah,
to, that kind of shit is that
it's
stuff that I
real.
don't think the average mind is ready for.
Yeah, at least not in
Because they don't
America.
have to
There's
experience it. They don't even have to think about it on their day-to-day life. So none of that. So like those scenarios just never cross their mind.
yeah, like having to decide which one of your kids starves to death and which kids live. That's those are real decisions being made in the world today. Like it's so that's why I'm like, yo, this shit could be so much worse. Even with all the problems I got in this country, I'm still like, yo, I'm happy I'm here and not in North Korea.
Yeah.
Like as many it like as much racial shit and whatever is going on. I'm like, yo, there are there's still many benefits. I mean, I don't like even if the tax system is fucked up, whatever. Like there hasn't been a day in my life where you know either a parent or me or anybody else that I know has had to decide which one of my kids am I going to let starve and which ones are going to survive. But there's people out there who have to make those decisions, and it's fucked up. Like I can't imagine having to make that decision and then live with it. Yeah. I mean, not to be macabre. I know I'm always the one who brings up the dark subjects, but I'm like, that's real shit and that's real people. And I can't put my head in the sand and act like it doesn't happen because I know it does. Um,
Yep.
and, and
Well,
I'm like,
on that
Well,
note, I'm
good
gonna
night,
have to hop
guys.
off again because my phone is dying.
You scared everybody away.
oh, my bad, y'all.
No, no. If y'all are on in a bit, I'll still hop back on. I gotta get some of this work done, and my phone's about to die, so I'm gonna let it charge for a bit. But if y'all are still on, I'll hop back on.
I'm
Oh
falling
yeah,
asleep.
I
I'm actually falling asleep, man. Y'all, I'm falling asleep, man. Talking about bedtime stories, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, man? Going to tell you. Oh, I'll see y'all later, man.
I
shit.
man.
All right, man.
See it.
Hey, oh wait, are we off tomorrow? I'm off. Are you guys off?
I'm
Not that I know of.
Nope.
Okay, we're gonna go shoot guns. I think, right? Maybe.
oh sure, I'm down.
Cool. Hey, look at that. Make sure I record it. Put it on the
Oh, record the shooting of the guns.
yeah, boom boom,
Okay.
something like that.
Ooh.
Maybe we'll put it on the Izuzu Rodeo, like when your opinion is trash or something like that.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
when you don't subscribe.
When you
Yeah,
don't subscribe, when you listen and don't subscribe.
we can make it a commercial. It's an Izuzu Rodeo commercial. There we go.
Mm,
oh
for
shit.
sure. All right, later,
Well,
guys.
all right,
Later,
bro.
man.
So, should I
And
bring
then
this
there
one
was
to?
two.
And then there, no, three. These are still on. And I guess I will cut this one short, but let's leave it on a positive note. On a positive note, I would just like to say that the best cereal of all time was
No, they're
Tony's
not. No, they're not.
Cinnamon Crunches. What the hell? What kind of blasphemy is coming out your goddamn? Uh, in the wise words of a great philosopher, shut your whore mouth.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
I like that. I don't know why. That's the funniest. I would never tell a woman that, but that's the most funniest phrase. Like the most ridiculous shit. Like shut your whore mouth. Like what? Who came up with that shit?
That
They
just sounds
must have
like an
been
evolved form
so
of
fucking
Jane,
mad.
you ignorant slut. That came from old SNL, so I wouldn't be surprised.
oh man, this is I don't know. Is that what we, nah? I would never name an episode of this podcast "Shut Your Whore Mouth," but it's just I can't imagine like somebody telling me
Fuck it.
that,
I'm
and
calling that hoe now.
oh, okay, are you calling it "Shut Your Whore Mouth"?
Shut your whore mouth. We, we,
Oh
we
man.
got a we got a trend nowadays though. Like the final thing that's said is what the title is. So I need you to say it one more time.
All right, shut your whore mouth.